Hello everybody. We'll continue with our experiment here to see if I can still communicate with you as a human being, and at least in some respects, even though I've realized that there's nothing I can do about the fact that my mouth moves a little bit more differently from the way the sound comes out of my mouth. However, there are some topics that I still would like to be able to discuss with you, at least to put on your radar, considering what I think is important. And one of these is, of course, that the past belongs to everybody. It isn't just something for scientists to learn about. It isn't just something for people who like esoteric history. Everybody has a past. Everywhere, everywhere, every when on the planet Earth. When I came to the United States, I came as a refugee, and so basically I did not have a past that was here. But the past of this particular continent and these continents became my own past, and I tried to learn everything I possibly could about this past. And certainly when I was going to grade school, I learned virtually nothing about the fact that there were Native Americans here for a very, very long time in the Americas. And so that may be one of the reasons why I chose archaeology, to be able to have some understanding of this extraordinary history. Is it more extraordinary than the history of anyone else on the planet? The whole point is that everybody's got extraordinary history, and everybody's history is worth learning about and worth knowing about. And that's what this course is about. It's about Native American history before Columbus, from the very beginning. So I've already mentioned that the past belongs to everyone. However, how we view the past certainly is impacted by our own individual cultures and how we defined the pasts of those cultures. Now, in our culture, if you think about it, time seems to be very linear. It operates in a single line. This is the year 2009. We all know that it will be followed by the year 2010, 2011, 2012. I am 61 years old. I know that on my next birthday I will be 62 years old. You are perhaps 21 or 20. You are anticipating your 21st birthday, your 22nd, your 23rd. Time is linear. In our calendar, we have this linear progression. And so that is a very important aspect of time that that we celebrate, that we commemorate, that we recognize in a culture such as ours. It is also true that time is cyclical, that time can be visualized not as a straight line, but as a circle, a series of repeating events from day to day, month to month, season to season, year to year, constant repetition of events. And we, in a culture such as ours, are also impacted by this type of set of time. To make it very, for example, how about the various religious holidays that we participate in? We know that, although this may be the year 2009, that we will also be celebrating a particular religious holiday in all of the subsequent years, because it's part of the cycle of ritual in however it is that we practice our culture. Sports is a good example in our culture, that we know that March Madness is going to come in March, and that we have certain types of finals, or the Super Bowl is coming. These are cyclical events. But of course, in terms of the everyday, it's also that our semester begins anew or ends, and we have graduations that we know that follow each other. Even though it's year after year, it's still a cycle of yearly events that we can follow. The same thing with our harvesting seasons, that I know that at least in this area, northwest Pennsylvania, I will start with the strawberry season, at which point I will prepare my various tools, followed by perhaps cherry, the different types of vegetables. And of course, if I'm going to be preparing cherries and getting myself ready for the harvest at cherry time, I'm going to be sure that my tools are ready at that time, and those tools are going to be very different from the tools that I use for working with strawberries, or for broccoli or apples and so on. I think you get the idea. So every culture has a linear past, a cyclical past, and certainly this is something that we have to figure out for each of the cultures of the past that we look at. All of them has had them, but the balance, the importance of each varies from culture to culture. So in many cultures, it is the cyclical past that perhaps takes precedence over any kind of linear past that might be conceived. And by the time we come to the end of this course, we will actually be working with the Maya calendar, which will be an expression of a linear past. In other words, a series that can be followed, a calendrical series that can be followed, an intermeshing of two calendars, but that this cycle of activities, repetition of days and day numbers and month numbers will repeat themselves once every 52 years. So it'll be kind of an interesting blend of this. And perhaps by the time we get there, we'll decide that maybe I've got it wrong and that we can look at it in a little bit more refined way. Hopefully we will look at it a little bit more refined way. But that'll be near the end of the semester where we will look at this interrelationship between linear and cyclical time among the Maya. And of course, archaeologists study both kinds of pasts. Both kinds of pasts are extremely important to us. Now, what I'm going to do right now is just move on to my little other computer and printer here and prepare for the next topic that we're going to be looking at. However, before I do that, I would like to tell you that for is it topic 1 that we're on? Topic 1, which is definitions in archaeology. Fagan does a really nice job in defining the various concepts. He does talk about linear time and cyclical time. He does a nice job defining these concepts. However, every archaeologist has their own way that they prefer to express what archaeology is and what the remains of human behavior actually are. And for me, archaeology is the systematic study of the past from the remains of human behavior given certain specified objectives. And then I like to take this particular definition apart. So when you look at your lecture, you will find that I have taken this particular definition apart, looked at the various items or themes that are important, so that you and I speak a common language when it comes to this particular class. Yes, of course, everybody has their standard jargon and vocabulary, but I want to be sure that in our class we all have some sense that we're talking about the same thing and reading about the same thing. So for now, I'm going to stop here because I think this is getting a little bit long for the YouTube that I'd like to look at, so I'm going to subdivide this talk and bring on another theme shortly. So in the meantime, everybody, hopefully this experiment has worked, and I will see you in a little bit. Take care.